Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Kensthetic with the Kensthetics, and I'm here with you guys today with a new video. So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys how I made my new YouTube intro and outro. If you guys follow me on Instagram, which you guys should, at Kensthetic_, I told you guys that I attempted to make my own intro and outro. I just feel like these are just skills that I just want to have so that I can have the flexibility to change things up and spice things up whenever I want to. So I attempted to do it. It was a success. So you guys told me you guys wanted a tutorial on how I did it. So here we are. So before we get started, make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, give this video a big thumbs up, drop a comment down below, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I also included some general tips throughout this video, such as keyboard shortcuts that I use in Final Cut, how I find music, how I find fonts, and all of that. So even if you guys aren't interested in creating an intro and an outro and you guys just want general editing tips, you guys can find that in this video as well. So let me stop talking and let's go ahead and get into this video. Okay guys, so this is my iMac, and I have a hate-love relationship with editing on my iMac. So I like the setup, having to sit at my desk and, you know, just having a bigger screen. But at the same time, y'all, I don't know if it's just mine, but my iMac moves so slow. So this is my iMac. I'm going to sit here today to show you guys how to edit my YouTube intro and all of that. First thing is that I have an external hard drive. I think it's important to have an external hard drive when you are editing because, one, Apple devices tend to run out of memory pretty quickly. I'm sure that we've all had experiences where we got notifications that we're running short on storage. Our hard drive is almost full, Save yourself the headache. Get yourself an external hard drive. I get the 2 terabyte ones just because they have like 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, 5 terabytes, whatever. I like 2 because 1, I fill up pretty quickly. 5, I'm like, God forbid I lose it, I break it, it gets damaged, I'm gonna lose 5 terabytes of files. I just don't feel comfortable with that. So I just feel better having the 2 terabyte and just replacing them. I probably have like 5 now because I kind of go through them quickly. If you are new to editing, you're gonna realize that video files take up a lot of space. So I just highly recommend for you guys to get an external hard drive. I'll have my Amazon store link down below as well as a direct link for this. So if you guys are interested in getting an external hard drive, get it from my Amazon store, and that's that on that period. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug this up. Ooh. And I literally save everything on my external hard drive. So even after I'm done editing my video, I save it on my hard drive, and that's that on that. So I'm gonna go ahead and open Final Cut. So this is Final Cut Pro. The reason I also wanted to edit this on my iMac is because I really wanted to show you guys from start to finish how this is done. I did this on my MacBook Pro, so all of the plugins that I use, all of the extra like text that I use or whatever, I may have to download it so that way I can go ahead and show you guys those steps in between. So yeah, so first thing I'm gonna do is what I have been liking to do is just create a new event for each project that I'm working on, any video I'm doing. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a new event. So I'm just doing that by right clicking on this left panel, and I'm going to go ahead and click new event. So I'm going to go ahead and name this event YouTube intro and outro. And then you can do different libraries. I just have like a YouTube library, so everything is just saved in this YouTube library. So I'm just gonna go ahead and click OK to create it. So then I'm going to right click on my new event that I made, so YouTube intro and outro. I'm just gonna right click on it and I'm gonna click new project. So in each event you can have separate projects. So for instance, if I have footage of me doing my makeup and I want to make like a YouTube video and an Instagram TV video, I do 2 separate projects. So the first project I'm going to make is going to be YouTube intro, and then it says in event YouTube intro and outro, correct? So I'm just going to click OK. So real quick, before I click OK, I want to show you guys different tips and tricks in between. So say for instance, I wanted to create an Instagram TV. The settings to create a new project is automatically set on like the landscape dimensions. So if you are creating an Instagram TV, then you would click use custom settings, and where it says video, you would drop down and you would click custom. So that way you can go ahead and change it to 1080 by 1090, which are the dimensions for an Instagram TV video. So any different video you're doing that has different dimensions, whether you're doing like a video for Twitter, whether you're doing like a 60-second video for Instagram, which is a 1080 by 1080 dimensions, you can go ahead and change the dimensions. But for this video, I want it to be landscape, so I'm just gonna go ahead and click OK, and that's gonna create my new project. So as you guys can see, we have our event here, we have our project here, and throughout the course of this video, we're gonna be making different projects, so you guys will see what I mean by you have one event and then you can have multiple projects. So I'm gonna use this project YouTube intro to be the compilation of everything. So for my intro, you guys saw that the first thing that was in my intro was the flickering text. So what I did, and what I like to do because I'm very organized, is I like to have different projects for like each thing that I'm doing. So I'm gonna have one project for the flickering effect, I'm gonna have one project for the screen that you guys saw with my Instagram account scrolling, and then I'm going to have a separate project for the last screen, which is a picture of me and the clickation of subscribe. So I'm gonna do a new project, and then I'm gonna name this one text, because, well, I'll put flickering text to be easier to follow. So I'm gonna put flickering text, same dimensions, so I'm gonna click OK. So this is a project we're working on. You always want to make sure your project is selected. So flickering text, here we are. So to do the flickering text, what I did is I clicked on this button up here, which is for titles and generators. So here you have like different title effects you can do, but if you click on generators and then you go to solids, so once you click on solid, you have all of these options of different screens. So I use the custom screen, because when you use custom, you have the option of changing the color to anything you'd like over here. So me being the super organized person that I am, I have, who's calling me? Hello? They need to stop calling my phone. So for my YouTube intro, I knew I wanted the first thing to be like the flickering text with the different shades of nude. So what I did is I went online and I looked up different hex codes for nude. So like creams, dark browns, whatever. I went and I wrote everything down. So what I did is I just went into color over here, this little drop down option, and then here I click on the second option, which is color sliders, and then from the drop down menu I clicked RGB sliders. So then you have the option of putting the hex code color directly into here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put in the first one. So I have B69271. So this was the first like shade of nude that I wanted. So I just went ahead and just kept dragging from custom, going over here to change the color, and entering in the hex codes that I had written down. So basically what we are doing is creating the so this is the second color. We're creating a different custom square, dragging it onto the timeline, which is right here, and we're just putting whatever colors we want to do. If you want it to be like these two colors repeating, then what you can do is you could just like copy and paste them over and over again on your timeline. But for mine, I wanted it to be like different shades of brown, so I'm just gonna go ahead and input all of the codes that I have written down onto different squares on my timeline. So this is the array of colors that I chose. When I wrote them down, they weren't in any particular order, but I do want a gradients. Like, I don't want to have too many light colors next to each other, so I'm just gonna go ahead and reshuffle these colors so that, you know, we can have not a dramatic gradients, but like a little something. So you guys can see it's like going in and out of different colors, so you can actually see the flickering. This is not the exact order I had it in for my video. I'm gonna be completely honest. These are the same colors, but the order was kind of selected the same way. Like, I didn't want too many lights next to each other, too many darks, and too many mids next to each other. So this is the overlay. The next step of it is to add in a white background, and then when you drag the white onto your timeline, over here you can choose which type of white you want it to be. I like for it to be bright white, which means like it's a white, like it's a white. So I'm gonna go ahead and make that super long. You want to make this as long as possible because you can always cut it down, but if it is too short, girl, you're gonna be struggling. Okay, so I'm gonna make this pretty long. Yeah, that's long. Then I'm gonna go ahead and go to titles, which is basically text. I'm gonna select basic text because I just want the text to just sit there. I don't want it to fly in, I don't want it to sweep in, I don't want it to shimmy in. So I'm gonna go ahead and just stretch the text along the timeline so it's the same length as the background. And I like to zoom in by pressing Command +, and just making sure that it's precise, or as precise as possible. So I'm gonna do the same thing on the other end, because when you're too zoomed out, you can't really see what's going on. You gotta be all up in there. See, look at this, the text started after, so I need to pull that back, bring it back, and I'll leave it like that. So the text, I'm gonna double click on it and I'm gonna write Kensthetic because that's what I wanted it to say. And I'm just gonna change the font to, I hope I have it on this computer, let's see. Okay, so I don't have the font that I use, so see, this is what I wanted to do on my iMac. Now I'm gonna show you guys how I find fonts. So let me go ahead and go to the site that I go to find my text is the font. You guys, this iMac really wants these hands. They really want these hands because, like, okay, thefont.com, boom. And then you can either type in the font that you want to find, or you could scroll through and see different types of fonts that they have. But it is free to download fonts from this website, and it's super easy to install to your computer. So once my iMac stops thinking, because I don't know what it has to think about, I didn't do anything. Okay, we didn't add some music. I'm gonna search Bebas. That was a font that I used when I did my intro. So I used the regular Bebas. So over here, you just go ahead and you click download, and then it will download to your computer. It'll pop up down here. Yep. So once it's done downloading, you click on it, open and download. So I'm gonna double click Bebas, and then some fonts have different options. So this font comes with the OTF and the TTF. I think both of them are the same thing. Yep, they only have regular. They don't have like italicized, bold, thin, or any of that, which some fonts do have. So I'm just gonna go ahead and install this one font since there's only one option. And then you may have to close your Final Cut and then reopen it so that it pops up. But let's see if it came up. No, it did not come up. So I'm gonna go ahead and close my Final Cut, and I'm gonna go ahead and reopen it. So once you reopen it, we're just gonna see if it came up. Yep, it's right here, Bebas. So I'm just gonna click on that. You want to make sure, this is an important part of this this is the important part of this clip. You want to make sure that the text color, so the face, where it says face, you click show, and then you need to make sure that it's a bright green. So I'm just gonna go ahead and drag it all the way across on the green scale, and as you guys can see, it's a bright green. And you want to adjust the font size to be how you want it to be. So I'm just making it as large as possible, which I did when I made it, and I just want to make sure that it is centered like that. So once you have that done, what you're going to do is you're going to, on your timeline, click on the font and click on that white background. You want to select both of them at the same time. So if you hold down on command and you click the font and then you click the background, both of them will be selected. Once you have both of them selected, you're going to right click and select new compound clip. New compound clip. And then you can name it anything. So I'm just going to name it Kensthetic and then click OK. So what that does is that basically combines the two layers that we previously had, which was the text and then the background. So now, as you guys can see, they're combined on our timeline. So that's step one. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I want the colors to flicker fast, but I also want it to be like a different array of colors. So what I'm going to do, since I want it to like keep repeating and I want it to last quite a while, you guys are going to see why. Okay, so I held down command, I selected all of the colors, and then I'm going to copy. So I'm going to click command C to copy. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in because I want to be real precise. And I basically want to paste the colors once again. So as you guys can see, now we have 20 clips because I just basically copied the first 10 again. So now I'm going to go ahead, hold down command and select all of the colors. I hate when that happens. Select all of the colors. So here I'm just going to put this one in between so that we have some variation. Make sure you're fine. Once your colors are okay, you're going to hold down command and just select all of the colored clips. So once you have all of them selected, you want to right click and click new compound clip. So once again, this is basically going to combine all of these clips into one. So I'm going to click new compound clip and I'm going to put colors and click OK. So whatever you name your clip is basically just going to come up here. Instead of it saying like custom, now it just says colors, and now it just says Kensthetic. So if I play this, you guys see that it's one color for a longer period of time. So I basically want to make the clip faster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the speed of this clip. So to do that, you just select the clip you want to change the speed of. Click this little drop down option, the little time clock icon. And then I'm going to clip fast and I'm going to put it 20 times. So that way now it's like changing more rapidly, as you guys can see. So what I'm going to do now that I'm okay with the speed of the colors flickering, I'm going to go ahead and take my clip with the text and put it on top of the color clip. You want to make sure it's on top. With Final Cut Pro, I don't know if you guys use Photoshop or not, but basically you want everything to be layered. It works in layers. So whatever's on top is going to take priority, is going to be that girl, is going to be the HBIC. So you want to make sure that your text is on top of the colors. If it's underneath like this, it's not going to work. So you want to make sure your text is on top of your colors. So if I play it now, you guys see that it's just showing this text. It's just showing like, okay, you have a white background with green text. So in order to fix that, in order to, you know, make it do what it gotta do and let the colors come through, you're gonna go ahead and go to your effects over here. So this icon is effects, and in the search bar, I'm gonna go ahead and type in keyer. What the keyer does is basically cancel out anything that is lime green. So this text, the reason why we put the color to be green is because once we put the keyer on, it's basically going to erase whatever is lime green, if that makes sense. So if you guys ever see people use green screen like in movies, or if you watch YouTube videos, the green screen is basically theirs because it's easier to cancel out, it's easier to like put a fake background on top of, or whatever the case is. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the keyer and drag that on top of the text clip. So as you guys can see now, when I press play, we have the colors flickering. So that is how I did that one. I'm just gonna go ahead and click B. So if you click just B on your keyboard, I'm just gonna click B, it changes your cursor to the blade, and you can go ahead and clip, like cut whatever clip. So once you're done clipping, you click A and you have the regular mouse again. I select that, delete, select that, delete, and now I just want to zoom in to make sure this cut is very precise. You see we have more text and background, so I want to clip this little extra piece, and boom, we have our text flickering. I was so excited when I learned this. I'm just like, wow, I can't believe that I really sat here, learned this, did it, and it came out so good. So this is the first part of the intro. Boom. So the second part, I'm gonna go ahead and right click on our event and click and create a new project. So this is basically going to be the iPhone screen. That's what we'll call it, iPhone screen. So for this screen, what I did is I actually created a graphic, which I'm gonna open from my external hard drive. So one thing with editing on Final Cut is I find it super efficient to know like the keyboard shortcuts. So whenever you do want to import files, the shortcut for that is to click Command I. So I click Command I. Of course, it's taking long to load. Okay, so when you click Command I, you have like your options to import material. So I have everything saved on my external, so I'm just gonna go ahead and I just made a background that I wanted. So as you guys saw, it was this brown background with a cutout of me, and I lowered the opacity. So I did that in Photoshop. If you guys do want a separate tutorial about how I do things in Photoshop, comment down below, let me know, and I will be sure to do that. So that file was called Screen 2. When you import media from your computer, your external hard drive, or wherever, it goes under this clip sub tab. So I'm going to take Screen 2 and drag it onto my timeline. So as you guys can see, this is the screen that we have in the back. I want to include my Instagram handle, my Facebook handle, and my Twitter. So on my computer, which I don't have on my iMac, on my laptop I have PNGs of each icon, which basically means that it's the logo with a transparent background. That is what a PNG file is. So I'm gonna go online, I'm gonna go to google.com, and I'm gonna type in Instagram logo PNG. I'm gonna go to images, and then I'm going to see which one has a transparent background. So first of all, half of these probably don't have transparent background, so you do have to kind of do trial and error to figure out which ones are truly PNG files. So for instance, if I want to use this logo, you want to make sure that the background is like this grid effect. If it's like a solid white, let me show you guys an example. Like this background is a solid white, so this is not going to be a PNG file. It's not going to hit. So I'm gonna go ahead and try this one. So I'm just gonna right click and do save image as. Another way that you can tell if it's truly going to be a PNG file is when you click save image as, the format should be PNG image. If it's JPEG, if it's web page, it's not gonna work. So that is the second way you can check to make sure that it's actually going to be a PNG file. So I'm gonna save it to my desktop as Instagram logo, and then I'm gonna do the same thing for Twitter. So I want to find a transparent Twitter logo. So this one is loading. Make a name. Y'all, if y'all was watching my story of you guys. Okay, so I'm gonna save this Twitter logo to my desktop. As we can see, it says PNG image, so it should hit. So I'm going to save that. And then the last one that I need is a Facebook logo. So if you guys are ever looking for anything with a transparent background, make sure you type in PNG when you search it in Google. Make sure it has this gridded background, and make sure it says format PNG image when you go to save it to your computer. So now I'm gonna go in Final Cut, and to import these logos I'm gonna click Command I shortcut, and I'm just gonna navigate to my desktop. Boom, and I'm just going to hold down Command so that I can select multiple. So I already see one that's not gonna hit. This one is not a PNG file, it's not. So I'm gonna go ahead and find another one. Let's try this one. I'm just going to Facebook with 2Ks. And then I'm gonna go ahead and import that in. So Facebook with 2Ks. Okay, this one hit. So I'm gonna zoom in so I can actually see what I'm doing. And I want to drag in and stack up these logos on top of the background. So this background here, you guys see, is going to always be the bottom, because that's always going to be like the background. This is the wrong one. Facebook with 2Ks. Okay, so in order to like transform these logos and just make them be where I want them to be, I'm just gonna go ahead and select this one. So I'm going to do Facebook since it's the top one, and then this little icon here, if you drop down, you can either transform, crop, or distort. I want to transform, which basically means that I can go ahead and come on. Oh my god, I hate when it does this. Okay, so you want to make sure your time marker is within the clip, because I had it at the end, so that's why I was acting up. But you want to make sure it's somewhere within the clip, and then you'll have these options to like move the corners around. So I'm just gonna go ahead and shrink each of these and make them small. So boom, boom, and then Instagram. And once you click transform and you select a different clip, as you guys saw, it's all going to transform. Give that auto option. I'm just stacking them on top of each other to make sure the sizing is consistent. And then I'm gonna go ahead and line them up. I may have to move this. I did have to play around with it for a while when I actually did my intro. But I'm just going to stack these here and do that. And then the text, so we want to write what our handles are. So I'm going to click once again the title and generator option. I'm going to drag basic title onto my timeline, and I'm just going to use one. So I'm going to put Kensthetic underscore, because y'all know that's my Instagram. If y'all not following me already, go ahead and follow me. I'm going to change the font to Bebas, which is a font I want to use. I want it to be a little larger, and then I'll put it here. So since my Twitter is the same, I'm just going to command copy and command V paste another Kensthetic, and I'm just going to move that next to the Twitter, because my Twitter and Instagram handles are the same. And then I'm going to command copy, command V paste again, so that I can go ahead and use this one to change to my Facebook, which is Kensthetic with 2 C's. So these are all of my handles, and I had this on my intro. The next thing we want to do is the whole iPhone graphic. So I went on YouTube and I searched iPhone green screen animation. Whenever you're looking for anything and you wanted to cancel out the background with that Kira effect that I showed you guys, you want to make sure when you search you put green screen. So I went ahead, I searched, and which one did I find? I found this one, this green screen effect. I'll link this one down below in case you guys want to use it as well. But it's just a white iPhone that's just sitting here, minding his business, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and copy the link from YouTube, and I'm gonna go in Google, and I'm just going to search convert YouTube to MP4. So if you ever want to convert something like the actual visual, you put MP4. If you want to convert something like the audio, you'll put MP3. So I put convert YouTube to MP4, and this is the website that I love using, ytmp3.cc. So I'm going to paste that YouTube link, and then make sure you select MP4, which gives us the actual visual, and click convert. So once it is converted, you have the option to click download. So you just download here, and then as you guys can see, it downloaded. This, I don't know what this is doing here, but it's a no. So I'm gonna go back to Final Cut. I'm gonna click Command I, and I'm going to import that green screen animation. Oh, this is desktop downloads. Okay, so green screen animation, import, and then I'm going to drag that onto the timeline. So this clip does have audio. It's nothing, but I just like to silence everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and drag my keyer effect onto the iPhone, and you see it's cutting out. It's like magic. So I'm just gonna drag this over here. So as you guys saw in my intro, the iPhone kind of like slid in. The iPhone kind of like slid in. So you kind of have an option. You can leave the iPhone to just sit here to download. So whenever I have anything on my iPhone or any of my Apple devices and I want to get it to another one, I just AirDrop. I'm not sure if you guys use it, but AirDrop is big. Like, I don't know what I was doing on my phone before I had AirDrop. So I'm just gonna Command I to import that file with the scrolling right here. So I'm going to drag that onto my timeline. I feel like whenever I'm recording, that's when the hood wants to act up. So I'm going to click B to cut the rest of this off. And then I'm going to, I want to crop this at the top off and this at the bottom off. So let me see how I had it in the video. Yeah, so you guys see it's just my @name and the feed. All of the stuff at the bottom is gone, and all of the stuff above my @name is gone. So I'm gonna click and select that clip. It's calling me. Hold on. Hello?
Hi, this is an exclusive.
Yo. I have not even been recording this video for this long, and they're blowing up my phone. So I'm gonna click the clip that I want to crop, and then once again from this little drop down menu, I'm gonna select crop. So I'm just gonna move in the corners to crop this video clip to how I want it to be. So once again, I just want it to be my @name and my feed. So once I'm done cropping, I'm gonna click done. So after that, I'm gonna click the drop down again to transform so that I can move it over here and crunch it up to be the size that I want it to be. I did have to play with this a bit because it just moves so quickly, girl. So I want like all of this brown in the background to be covered. I had to make it a little wider or a little longer. Okay, boom. So that fits within the iPhone animation, and once we play it, we see that the scrolling happens. So this is your first option. You can just put the iPhone, let it scroll, and call it a day. But if you want to be a little bit fancy, like you want it to pop in and pop out, what you can do is you can select the clip of the iPhone scrolling, select the green animation of the iPhone, and you want to right click and create new compound clip. So I'm gonna name this iPhone. So what that does is that basically combines the two clips. I'm doing that because when I key this iPhone to slide in, I want both of them to slide in together. Like, I don't want no discrepancies. I don't want it to be clockable that, you know, this isn't the screen for this iPhone. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to select the clip, the iPhone clip that we just combined, and I'm gonna key it. So if you guys want a separate video on keying, I definitely will do that for you guys. I'm not the best. I literally just do a little 1-2. So I'm just gonna have it here. Play, pause, boom, and drag it here. Pause. Okay, so let's see. Yeah. So that's basically how you would do it if you wanted to slide in. I just basically did a keying effect. and called it a day. So that is basically everything I had on this screen. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to zoom in. As you guys can see, some things are longer than others, so I'm just going to clip to cut out the extra. I'm using my blade tool. So we have this this project is done. So we have our iPhone screen. The next project we're going to do is for the subscribe screen. Subscribe screen. So I believe, did I save it? I think I saved the screen. So for this screen, I just wanted my an image of myself, and I just made it have like a brown hue on it. So I'm going to import that, and that is going to be the background. So subscribe screen, that's what I call this file, and I'm going to zoom in. So on this screen, what I wanted is just for the subscribe to come in, for it to click subscribe, click the bell button, and call it a day. So what I did is I just went in YouTube and I put subscribe green screen, and you have all of these options. So this is actually the one that I use. Once again, it will be linked down below. So I'm gonna copy the link for this video. I'm gonna go back to my converter. I'm going to paste the link. Make sure you click MP4 and click convert, and then click download, and then go back into Final Cut and do Command I. Find that download on your computer. So this was the name of it, and then I'm gonna drag that onto my timeline, make it silent. So you guys see it had all of this fluff in the beginning, but I just want the subscribe part. So I'm going to press B on my keyboard to blade and cut out this beginning part. So click on the first part and click delete. And then I'm gonna find where it ends, and then I'm going to hit B, clip, and then delete the end of it. So I literally just want this part where subscribe, click, and then it disappears. So as you guys can see, we have a little extra background, so I'm just going to clip that out from now. And then I'm gonna go ahead and drag my keyer effect onto that subscribe screen. So you guys see now it's transparent and you just see the subscribe screen. So now we have all three screens that we need for the intro. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save each screen. So in order to save a project, save a video you edited on Final Cut, what you do is you click file at the top. I hope y'all could see. You click file at the top, and then you click share and click master file. This is how I Kensthetic, this is how I save my stuff on Final Cut. So don't come for me in the comments talking about this is not right way, da 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 da. This is how I use Final Cut, and that's what I want to share with you guys, because I do things quick and easy, straight to the point. I'm a hard learner, so I'm trying to explain this in a way that's super easy. So also comment down below and let me know if you guys were able to follow along with this video. So this screen pops up. I never adjust like any of these settings here. I just go ahead and click next, and once I click next, it asks me like, you know, where do I want to save it. So as I told you guys, I save everything on my external hard drive. So this is my external hard drive. I just have my name and the date that I started this external hard drive, so it's easier for me to keep track of all of them, because girl, they all twins. I can't tell them apart. So I save, I have it organized by months. So I have a separate one for my YouTube intro, which I did save. So I have, so I'm gonna put this as subscribe 1. I already have all of these saved, so I'm just saving it here so you guys can see. So that is the last screen. Now I'm gonna go ahead and double click on that project where we did the iPhone screen. I'm going to, and you see it was successful, which means it's saved. So I'm gonna share master file next and make this like iPhone 1 just to save it again. So remember how the first project I made was a YouTube intro, and I said that I just want this to be the final one. So now I'm gonna Command I, and I'm going to bring in all of those files that I just save. So the iPhone one, the flickering one, and the subscribe one screens, I want to import those files. So I'm going to go ahead and drag them onto my timeline in the correct order. So flickering, iPhone, and then subscribe. So I'm just going to silence them even though there's no volume. And then you want to find your music for the intro. So 2 ways that I recommend finding music is using the YouTube audio library or going to SoundCloud and searching like no copyright music. So in the YouTube library, I'll start there. You could go ahead and you can play and find out different artists and stuff, but some artists that I recommend that has, like, I don't want to say the YouTube music, but you just know the music you hear all the time in the back of YouTube videos. So those artists are Lakey inspired, Cosmic, and a lot of times people do put the person who the music is by in their description box, so you can look for those too. But in the YouTube library, I usually just search like Lakey inspired, and oh, I don't know if it's gonna work. Lakey, okay, Lakey inspired is also on SoundCloud. For some reason, like whenever I search Lakey inspired in the YouTube audio library, it doesn't come up. But it is here. I don't have the patience to sit here and look for it. But if you go like in SoundCloud, I've been using SoundCloud a lot lately, so you can go ahead and you can find like no copyright music in SoundCloud. You can also put in lo-fi, which is like the music that is just a vibe, you know what I'm saying? So I think this was the song I used. No, I use that as a background, but you can go ahead and find any song. So this is the song that I use, Golden Hour. So Golden Hour is the song that I use. So let me show you guys how to save SoundCloud music. So you just click on the link you want, you copy the link, you go to Google, and you just put in convert SoundCloud to MP3. Notice now we're using MP3 because we just want the audio of whatever we're listening into. I click on whatever link. I usually use this one, the sclouddownloader.net. I paste in the link from SoundCloud, click download, and that will is that gonna work? Yeah, download track, and that will download the song to my computer. So then I go in Final Cut, I do Command I, and I pull in that music file that we just downloaded. So I'm just gonna go to my downloads, filter, open that, and then I'm going to drag that song onto my timeline. Music you want to be very like cautious of, because this is going to be too loud once you put it in YouTube. So I like to put -10. If it's just a song that I want to play, I'm not speaking over it, I put -10 on the volume up here. So I'll go ahead and play it so that you guys can see what it looks like and what it sounds like. So you guys see that here it was just too long. So when I put the flickering text in the final project, I'm just gonna make it a little bit faster. So you see, it's like boom. And I did put effects in between these. So between the flickering text and the iPhone screen, I use the transition. The transitions are over here. I use the clothing line, I think it is. Yes, the clothesline. I put that here, and then you're gonna get this pop-up. It's gonna say that there's not enough extra media beyond the clip to create the transition. That just means that it's going to overlap and it's gonna blend, which is fine. So I just click enter to create the transition, and this is what it would look like. So one thing I didn't like was the fact that you can see the black in the background when I do this transition. So what I did is I went to titles and generators, and I went to solids and just dragged a white solid in between, and you guys see that it changed to white. And I'm gonna put bright white because y'all know how I feel about that bright white. So this is how it looks now. It just looks more clean and a smoother transition. Boom. And I just dragged the white all the way across just because. So between the iPhone and the subscribe screen, I use this Gaussian transition. So I'm just going to drag that in between these two clips. Once again, it's saying that it's going to overlap and blend together, which is fine. So I'm just going to hit enter. And that's it. So I'm just going to zoom in. And I'm just going to clip this extra to have a nice clean file. And this is our intro. Once again, we're going to save it. So I'm going to click file, share, master file, and then next. And then I'll just put YouTube intro from recording so that I know this is the one that we used. So this is the intro. I like to save it as one file, so whenever I'm editing a video, I can just import this one file which has everything. It has the transitions, instead of me having to like copy and paste all of this into each video that I edit. You guys, my outro, I'm sweating like a pig right now. I can't wait to turn my AC on. But for the outro, I created it in Photoshop. So this is the outro that I created. Okay, so this is the outro I created. It's just a template I created in Photoshop. So I just found the dimensions of the outro screen, which is 1280 by 720, and I found the dimensions for these specific squares from from Google. So I just typed in Google, I just typed in YouTube end screen template, or you can put in YouTube end screen item dimensions, and when you go to images, it'll show you the dimensions for each element. So if you want to put the subscribe button, this is the dimensions you need, and then for the square, these are the dimensions you need. So I just made squares those sizes. I put in text to say watch next. At the top of my outro, you guys notice that the coloring of the text switches. So I basically just used this same flickering clip and just made it the regular speed instead of having it fast, if that made sense. Because remember, I was saying when I did it regular, it was just too slow. So in the outro, I felt like it was appropriate to have it slower because you don't want too much going on after somebody just watched the whole video. So yeah, this is the end screen that I made on Photoshop and Final Cut. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was kind of long. I tried to make it detailed. I tried to make it as straight to the point as possible because I'm a hard learner, especially when it comes to digital stuff. So I hope this video really helped. I get so many questions about editing, and I do want to do more of these videos. Let me know how the setup was. Were you guys able to see? Were you guys able to follow along as I was pointing? Would you guys prefer like a screen recording where I actually screen record what's on my screen and use that in the video versus having my camera behind me? Comment down below and let me know. Also, let me know if you guys do decide to use, like, you know, this as a template for your intro, or if you guys use certain editing tips from this video. Please let me know because I love to hear from you guys. So that's all I have for today's video. Make sure you guys subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up, drop a comment, and I'll see you guys in my next video on Monday. Mwah.